Then maybe we could chill. Stop. They're coming for us.
Who's coming for us?
The copyright gods.
Oh. Man, if you think that I am taken away from Destiny's Child with this horrible ass singing.
Oh my gosh.
You got something else coming for you, bro.
Did you see how Miss Tina posted a picture of Kelly and him? And she was just like, my bad. I'm like, wow. Definitely black mom there. Like, yeah, oops. It was so cute. It was an accident.
She the queen of oops. She the queen of posting pictures nobody wanted posted.
Yo, at least they don't. Well, not at least, because they would never do this to a black mom. But at least they don't do it like grandma, whoever. I don't. What's Chris's maiden name? Whatever their grandma name is. That time she posted the best picture of Chloe I've ever seen.
Oh yes, Grandma MJ.
Yes, Grandma MJ. The time she posted the best picture of Chloe that I've ever fucking seen, and they forced her to take it down. Like, excuse me.
I forgot all about that. Hey, no thunder.
Like, the body dysmorphia wild because if the power goes out, I'll die. But if the body dysmorphia is wild because Chloe looked better in that picture than any other picture I've ever seen. Ever. Sorry.
I think mosquitoes bit me up. Let's get the intros rolling.
All right, welcome to Insert Name Here, brought to you in full technicolor and living sound with the dose of tones of the lovely, the very hot, the muy fuego, demasiado negro.
I should have known that's where you were going.
Alejandra. Tejeda.
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, and then there's me, the cold-blooded but very fucking hot, bro. I'm all like woolly. You know, I like summer because I go from aggressive, violent eczema and dry flakiness to oil. But you know it's okay because it makes my skin clear, and I be looking really cute in the summertime. Except it's too hot. Anyway, on to news. If you can hear our fan, we don't care.
Not at all.
Because it's fucking hot in here. We don't have an AC. If we had an AC and you could hear that, we would care even less.
Yes, I was going to say, either way, we would not care because it was 100 degrees today. Or rather, it felt like
it was hot as a bitch. Today. It was hot as the devil's asshole.
So, if you are expecting to not hear a little in the back, you're wrong. Thanks. That's your disclaimer. You can log off now, but don't, because you want to hear what we gotta say.
All right. So, I want to say David Green, R.I.P. to the homie, and Ramona Cooper. They were killed by white supremacists on Saturday in broad daylight. David Green was a former Massachusetts State Trooper. I
think it was in Winthrop.
Yeah, in Winthrop. And Ramona Cooper was an Air Force veteran. And yeah, some dude just killed him.
Broad daylight and Saturday.
It's wild, you know?
Oh my God, seeing all those white people from Winthrop in shock. They were like, I never thought something like this could happen.
Really?
You just never know. Me, I could have told you that.
Only white people never think something like this could happen.
They're like, you never know. You never think something like this would happen. Homie stole a car, crashed it, and then shot 2 black people. Me, huh?
Wild. It's wild that they happen to be former state trooper.
In fact, I was like, you really shot the people that like the wrongest of the wrongest. He said a veteran. Technically, they like to count them both as veterans. 2 types of veterans.
But who cares? They're both arms of the American imperial system.
So so that was horrible news for this to start the weekend, especially when we found out that it was really because he was like, I would just like to kill black people.
Want to start a race war?
And so R.I.P. to them because that was very horrible.
That's very random, very sudden too. So ours. I feel bad for their families and their loved ones.
Facts, just the thought of it's sick, and it's always weird when they come out and they're like, he had troubling white supremacist rhetoric and handwriting and things, and I feel like there are always signs to these things, did this man live alone? Like, what was happening with this man that we know nothing about it? It's creepy. It's weird.
It's because they never pay attention when white men have warning signs.
They don't. And then we just...
Like, they don't care.
He was married, employed as a physical therapist, had a doctorate. That's not really impressive. You need to have a doctorate, basically, to be a physical therapist, whatever. And had a license to carry a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's creepy. So, and he was only 28. He dead now.
You're weird.
He got killed by the police. So.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, so, that's bad. Also, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the fact that there's a lot of violence in our communities, in our neighborhoods. And it's really sickening and tiring. And we have to have a better solution to violence and to... We need a solution because, I don't know, like, we try policing, that don't work.
No, but can we talk about how policing don't work in this topic? Because every time we bring up, oh, there's violence in our community, oh, this, and this is happening, people want to just go, oh, you know what, we'll get more police. People like Frank Baker, Ed Flynn, those type of folks will be like, oh, you know, we need more police. What will happen if we don't have police? Nothing, because the police don't stop crime. They don't prevent crime. It go like this. They don't prevent the crime from, like, starting or happening. They don't really stop the crime because they don't usually get there in time because they're doing hell knows what. And then they never find the people that commit the crime.
Yeah,
so,
and if you get something stolen, you don't get it back.
You get something stolen, they don't care. So what
and if they do get it back, it's hard for you to get it back from them.
And then they want you to buy it off them. It's a pawn shop. Can we talk about how the police, that thing is basically a pawn shop. They want you to buy back your stuff that they took from you. But whatever, okay.
They be literally thieves, the mafia criminals. I told you about them.
No, that is the mafia. The mafia went from being the mafia to just being police.
I just think, like, the police don't do anything. And I just feel like life wouldn't be that different except for the fact that we'd have so much more money in the budget to do everything else. Why is the police like, but can they just explain to me why the police are the highest funded like agency in Boston? Like, please explain that to me. And I know, like, so this kind of slides into budget discussion. So they voted on the budget today. And it passed. Obviously
all three of them.
They all passed. And I just feel like people, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like we never get anything out of the budget. I know all the progressive, like, the counselors who are on our side were all like, you know, small steps. And Ricardo was talking about the health center and all that, blah, blah, blah. Great. Important, da, da, da. It's just like, but like we do so many small things that we like actually just can't do anything big. And actually Lydia kind of mentioned it and fucked herself up because she said too much, I guess.
Police! That woman, sorry. We be saying that man, we're weird.
Yeah, because that man, because it's usually men and they be the problem, and they don't deserve names.
It's just
they're just that man.
It's very strange to be like, oh, the system does not work, but your job is to literally be a part of the system that does not work. So tell me how that worked.
My thing is, like, she said something like, you know, like like needing more democracy and how this body doesn't have enough like power and da da da. And that's all true and all that. But it's like, then she want to like backtrack from it a little bit. Like, man, like stand on your ground. Stand your ground. Like if you feel like, because they all feel like that and they all know that and everybody knows that and Kim Janey knows that and the person who's gonna be mayor next knows that because they're all city councilors. Like, I don't like, they know that the city council does not have enough power. And the only thing they can do is a budget, and they don't even have enough power over that. So, like she said, they're literally like they're like in a chokehold. They're limited by the ridiculous rules, and you know they want to talk about our beautiful city or da 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 da. No, the shit doesn't make sense. Like, I hate that. I hate how we have to sugarcoat and act all this bullshit. The shit does not make sense. Why is the charter like this? Because of racism. That's why it's like this. Like,
and the charter don't get changed. Nothing ever happens. Like, I can't remember who said it. There were a couple people that, like Malaysia mentioned, talking about the small, like, incremental changes and how, like, this budget can't fix everything. But
Ricardo,
this is
Julia.
what I've heard every single time.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not
like,
inclusive to just Ricardo or Julia or the other city councilors I mentioned it. This is, like, years prior that we've been hearing this. Years and years and years. And I think Andrea Campbell in her speech, which was quite nice, mentioned it, like, as part of the reason why she voted no. She was like, this has just been happening. I voted no on a couple budgets, but nothing has ever changed.
Right.
Like, we keep saying we're going to address these issues.
I'm like, it's the same thing that they do on a national stage. Like, you're going to say, like, oh, we're going to get our concessions, we're going to da-da-da-da-da. But if they're dangling some little minuscule thing over your head and you're just ready to grab up any morsel that falls off, my nigga, like, no, we need the actual meal, bro. Like, you trying to grab crumbs off the floor. Like, the fuck? We don't want that.
They want to give us a little, okay, there's a pie, guys. You get pie analogy? Like, we're math class. There's a big pie. And they keep cut.
Please, what kind of pie?
Apple pie.
Okay, is it the
one we buy for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then some whipped cream for me, and then some ice cream on the side for you. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. I haven't. Okay, we're gonna work best with that analogy, and that I have even more to say that goes with the whipped cream and the thing. But okay, we all got a piece of pie. They say, okay, we're gonna give you half, and then come time for the budget, they're like, okay, remember how I told you we'd give you half?
Hi.
What we're really gonna give you is like a quarter of that, and then when it comes down to actually voting that day, they're like, okay, so what happened was there was pie for you at some point, but because we needed this money for random things. You can't have it anymore. So no pie for you. But, as lovely city councilor said, I need to figure out who, because it cracked me up. It was killing me. Okay. Frank Baker, homie, said neighborhoods that look like me are losing.
I stopped watching at some point, because I was that. No, because I had... That was kind of scary thunder. I don't know, guys. That's God.
You wanted to watch me lose my life just now. Oh my God.
Hi, I'm glad you're alive, Kayan.
Yes, very nice.
I hope it's not raining like that where you are. That's scary.
That cracked
I feel like there's like a pain right here. I feel like I was struck.
Okay, no, but it sounded like a whip being slapped on us. Okay, guys, we're back. Okay, we're back. Okay, anywho, okay, so
funky ass Frank said said that the Jews, whatever he said, the Jews will not replace us.
He said neighborhoods like us, like that look like me, are losing.
He said the blacks will not replace us.
And I'm very
the blacks
confused.
Will not, allegedly.
And this is mainly because of the uncertainty about Boston police officers in schools, which is.
Oh, hey, I have a question. Mm-hmm. So, say, walk with me here.
Yes, I'm walking.
Say they were to ban police officers in Boston public schools. Say that. How many people who look like him are in Boston public schools? This is what we be talking about. This is what we mean. Like, this is what we mean. It's all cyclical. It all goes together. Nigga want to be talking about, but we need cops in the exam school. I mean, not the exam school. We need cops in the schools. But you're not in the schools, bro. Your neighborhood people, they not in the schools, my nigga. Because y'all don't like to be in the schools. Y'all want to be in Catholic school. Y'all want to be in private school.
Y'all want to be in Metco.
Y'all want to be in Metco. Y'all want to be in one of 4 schools at most. At most. Because y'all don't really want to be in the O'Brien. And only if you're special magical art children do you want to be in BAA. So, come on. Like, I'm sick of it.
Neighborhoods that look like me are losing. Okay, so...
You deserve that, yo. That's the only one of the night.
What we see here is an example of somebody that usually gets the pie and the whipped cream and the ice cream.
Like,
he's so used to getting the whole pie.
The whole
everything
pie.
he wants.
Everything on top. He probably put sprinkles on it. Don't even taste good.
People like me are losing, and he like, since when are white people taking an L? I'm still not seeing y'all take an L because last year's budget still got passed. The police overtime.
But I mean, in fact, they didn't even lower the budget. They didn't even fucking They didn't even defund the police even a little tiny trickle.
What happened to, what's that word? Austerity? Posterity?
Austerity.
Yes. What happened to that? All those white people always talking about, oh, the budget, oh, the money.
It's so inflated. Everything's overinflated.
Oh, we don't got money for that. Why you got money for police then?
Stop. Okay. Please explain to me, because this is the thing about policing that I need people to admit, because certain people don't even see police in their community. How can they be so sure they need more police? They don't see them and they don't want to see them.
The only time I see police are when there's a car accident or within the 4 weeks of construction that have been outside.
My thing about it is that sometimes at some point people gotta admit that they just want surveillance in communities of color. They just want to make sure that somebody is cracking the whip down on communities of color.
Like that thunder on us.
That's all they want. That's what they want. It's clearly that's what they want, because
they just want police
for what other reason?
Pressuring young kids, being like, "What are you doing?"
What other reason? They don't, like we said, they don't solve crimes. They just they said I think it was Julia said, y'all told us that there were I don't know, somebody said it. Somebody said, I don't know what the fuck. I'm crazy. Anyway, but somebody said they told us that there would be less overtime if they hired more police.
I think multiple people said that.
Yeah, some people said there would be less overtime if they hired more police.
I think Ricardo, Andrea, and Julia all mentioned stuff like that about how
and there was the same amount higher overtime, even though they hired more police. You know why there's higher overtime? Because they give them all overtime. Because they be going on our favorite story about how they be going on their fucking 4-hour walks to the courthouse. Come on. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the police conversation.
How we see police officers almost every month, if not 2 to 3 times a month, get arrested for overtime fraud, and we're like, you know what we need? More police. And you know what we need is to give them basically an endless supply of overtime money.
I don't understand. Imagine if anybody could take that amount of overtime at any job. You know how many people would not have to work 7 jobs if they could just take people can't even get overtime at McDonald's, bro. And you getting crazy 30 hours of overtime a week. These people be wilding out, and they be forcing it too. They don't even be keeping it cute.
It's still funny because it's for the mental sanity and blah blah blah. The officers, we need more officers, but then those officers are also technically, by their own concept, are also overworking themselves. So don't you see a flaw that even the more numbers of police officers you get, you're gonna keep facing the same issue? Doesn't that speak to a greater issue within your department?
No. What are you talking about?
Isn't that a problem?
Isn't that deceiving the public?
Isn't that immoral?
Isn't that immoral?
But okay,
Who was that guy? Do you know him? No, I don't know him.
That's a deep cut, guys. You know where that's from.
I am the president of the bank.
Okay, so today is a budget day. They spent a very long time talking about it. Are
they doing the vote right now? When are they doing the exam school vote? Did they do it?
I don't know when they're doing the exam school vote.
Because it's supposed to be tonight.
Oh, it might have been done already. Do some Googles.
Okay, but what are you going to say about the budget? Sorry.
It's 3 different budgets, because it's the operational budget, the BPS budget, and then the third one I can't remember because I didn't stay on for the full time because that was very boring.
It was quite boring.
And it's quite boring to listen to people constantly be like, oh, I don't agree with this, and this in a budget, but okay, it's fine.
I'm going to vote for it still. But I know that's politics. That's what they're supposed to do. And that's the only thing a city councilor really has in Boston is the ability to talk forever.
Mm-hmm.
So
very annoying.
I suppose
they were talking for so long.
But however, I just wish we didn't have to do all the pomp and circumstance like at the beginning, and I also wish they didn't have to jack each other off every 10 seconds. Like, oh, great job. I know it's Kenzie's birthday. Happy birthday, bitch. But I wish they didn't have to freaking jack each other off. Oh, my coworker, they're so great. I just say one thing about Alejandra in the beginning of the show. That's it. I don't go the whole show. Wow, she's so great. Wow. Oh, you know what?
So
Thank
lovely.
you for making this thing. Wow. And it's not, also the other thing about it, it's not 7 fucking people going up and saying, you know what? I totally disagree with you. You were actually really rude and disrespectful to me, but I love you. You're my colleague. You did a really good job, even though I hate everything you did. Good job. Like, what? Like, I'm like, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. I don't care.
It's a bit wild.
Also, I don't know what Ed Flynn be talking about. I feel like he's not where we are. Like, he might be somewhere else. I think he's on a different planet. He's South Boston. But he's, his dad was the old mayor or whatever.
Okay. Saying District 2 is not really helpful to me, but okay.
South Boston. And somewhere in China. I don't know.
Yeah, South Boston. Okay. Was he the speed bump man?
Yeah, he said speed hump and road hump. And I'm just like, I don't know. I have to laugh because I don't know. He said, what did he say? We need to slow down. I sent it to you in the chat. We need to slow down the cars.
This man, I said, this is what you want to talk about?
This is the second time he's gone. I mean, the second time that I've seen. Let's be clear. Second time that I've seen that he's gone out and talk about the damn. You know what? I'll say. Clearly, Ed Flynn listens to his fucking constituents, because that's all old people talk about is the damn speed bumps and the speed limit. Is that the word, speed limit? Yeah. That's all they freaking talk about. It's so funny.
He wants it to be 20 and to be like heavily enforced.
And first of all, heavily, like I said, I'm still on that heavily. Him saying he wanted to be heavily enforced directly directly after saying he wants like racial equality or whatever the fuck he said to end racism. They're just gonna stop black people in nice cars, bro. That's all they're gonna do.
It makes
like sometimes I look at him and I think possibly he doesn't actually know. Like, I look at Ed Flynn and I look at his face and I think, I don't know, you might actually believe this will fix it. Like, Frank Baker, he knows. Ed Flynn, I don't know. Like, he should know. He's like he's a legacy motherfucker. His dad was the mayor, dude. It was the Flynn motherfucking mayor guy. The fucking guy. He was the guy, okay? But I look at Ed and I just feel that.
Once again, I've been deceived by myself because I looked at a picture of him and I said, this is Ed Flynn? I saw him today on that broadcast. Why can't I remember what he looks like?
Oh, can we talk about Frank Baker's suit? Frank Baker was in a tan suit, and I think everybody should have a tan suit controversy. Because Frank Baker did I say before that he looks like a sleazy used car salesman?
I think
because he looks like a Miami car salesman, used car salesman, one that you should not trust. His girlfriend is probably like 21. This used car salesman, this used car salesman, this character I'm making up right here. Yeah, probably has like a 21-year-old Cuban girlfriend. She got a BBL on his dime. Like, no, that's what the suit was giving me, because he wasn't wearing a tie either. He had the collar a little loose, It was hot, but I give the man, it was hot. I wouldn't even wear a coat. I'd have been up in there in a t-shirt. Matt O'Malley, I don't even know why he dressed for it, because me personally, I'd have been like, I'm leaving this body. I'm gonna be in a t-shirt and board shorts. I'm going to the beach after this.
Is this what he looks like?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
But the Ed Flynn I just Googled online did not look like that.
That's somebody else. This guy, that's him. That's him, but he just looked chunky. He just looked a little chunky there.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I said...
But tell me he don't look like maybe he not sure. He looked like he could not be sure. But yeah, they passed the budgets. That's the point. They passed them.
Yeah.
Did you find out if they?
No, I haven't found anything about it.
Okay, so maybe they haven't.
I went looking.
But it's 9:00.
The meeting It started 3 hours ago, but I haven't.
Oh, so they really might not have voted yet.
Yeah, so
But anyway,
without
so
them speaking, they gotta do
the situation around the exam school. So basically, they had come to an agreement like a week ago or something like that. Recently, they had an agreement. They were gonna just do it by district and do however the fuck they was gonna do it, whatever. And then, like in the last hour, people were like, you have to include the 20% for the highest the people with the highest grade averages in the city. So they should have to be able to go to the exam schools. And like, when we're having like a conversation about like equity in this city, it's actually like not equitable to just have like, you know, to do it by GPA like that, because the thing about it is that like schools in the city are not equally funded. They're not equal in racial makeup, economic makeup. So also the other thing is that because exam schools work, if you live in a district, you can go to that school. So motherfuckers can go to certain, like, you know, little private schools, Catholic schools, like I already bitched about. And not only can they get a better education sometimes, but also, even if they don't get a better education, Catholic schools inflate grades a lot, especially in Boston, where, again, the only viable option white parents see in Boston for public school is Boston Latin Academy, Boston Latin School, Boston Arts Academy, which is way more recent, and maybe the O'Brien, maybe if they're like probably like JP hippies.
Facts.
And they're like fine with that. So yeah, that's it. And that's what 4 schools out of 24. It's a lot of schools.
A lot of schools, and a lot of schools we don't pay attention to because we're like, no, what about the exam schools? I need Timmy to get in. Fuck everybody else Timmy go to school with. I need Timmy to
The Westie whites feel like their kids should go to school.
If you don't think it's a problem that you think that your child only deserves to go to a good school, you're kind of fucked up inside. Like, I just want to tell you, that's very dangerous, and it's a very individualistic like mindset to think that only your family should succeed and everybody else's family shouldn't. Like,
it's white supremacy. Like, bro, imagine you live in pre-colonial West Africa and you want your neighbor's crops to fail. Like why would you want that? Your neighbor, like the person on the next plot of land, you're like your village mate. You probably grew up together. You're like, fuck their crops. I hope all their yams die. I hope they can't feed their family of 10. Like, that's what these Westie parents, that's what a lot of these white parents, said it, white parents, some rich Asian parents, that's how they feel. They say, fuck it, I don't give a fuck about any other little kid, just
Children.
Like your little kid.
It's kind of sick. It's not kind of sick. It is sick.
And you know what? A lot of white parents, a lot of y'all kids do not deserve to be in exam schools. Because I went to school with your fucking kids, and they're not smart.
No. They be doing coke in the bathroom.
They be getting us good, pure black nerds into trouble with their drugs and their devil music, their Warped Tours, and their...
Too many stories I done heard of various white people doing drugs in that bathroom at BLA.
Their Warped Tours and their orgies on ski trips.
Doing drugs before they walked into school. Mofos chewing dip and spitting it out all day.
And they want to ask you for your Blistex. As if...
So you telling me I'm not saying those kids don't deserve to go to BLA, but I am saying when we're comparing children, your little kids that are getting finger blasted at the holy name dance and coming to school and making sure that everybody hears about it.
Oh God, I'm so glad that I was like I just never. I'm just glad. God.
Like, it's an honest conversation. Like, we went to an exam school and we saw how a bunch of these Westie whites, these Southie whites, these Charlestown whites acted. versus how we acted, and the shit was crazy. Like, the way they got to have their little outburst and still come back to class, the way they got to fail class.
Somebody tried to burn down the school.
Somebody tried to burn down the school.
And only went to the Bearing Center for like 2 days, came back, and everybody was really weird about letting them go to the bathroom after that. And we all felt that way. Everybody just looked like, you want to go to the... I don't know about you in the bathroom, bro.
It's just so funny because, okay, so BLS gets in trouble a few years ago for not having enough black people specifically. They just don't have enough black and Latino people in their
And why
school.
would you want to go there anyway if you were black?
Yes.
Me, personally, never wanted to go there.
So they get in trouble, like, with, I don't know if it was the state or, like, the federal government. One of the two they got in trouble with because they're actually violating
because they're segregated. It's a segregated
so that's the
school.
thing. But then we come to these final meetings and we see that, oh, they're like, no, you know what we should do? We should just, like, we need to keep the same system, but, like, only change it a little bit because, you know, it's those smart kids, they deserve to go somewhere good.
But that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. That's why I tweeted
it.
That's why I tweeted. If you are gonna defend the exam school system, you have to admit why it's so important that your child goes to an exam school.
Yeah, why can't you go to your kid?
Why is it so important that your child? Why can't they go to Charlestown? Why can't they go to the Burke? Why can't they go to Madison? Why? Why is it so imperative that your genius, smart child go to an exam school? Because every other, that those are the only schools in the city that people fully invest in. There's actually only one school they fully invest in, and it's called Boston Latin School, and that's the only one. But anyway, and some charter schools, because of course.
I just want to know because y'all are liars.
But you have to admit that you have to be honest and say it's because if every other school. Like, why can't you go to any other school? Because every other school in the city is bad. Why is every other school in the city bad? Because they're all under-supported. Like, why are they bad? What's the reason they're bad? If not that.
And it's funny because if some, let's say Wesley Whites were to perhaps put their children in some of these schools that are deemed bad, and because of, like, various reasons due to socioeconomics and other things, white parents to some degree tend to be more involved. It's very dependent on where you are in socioeconomics, like I said. Look at what a turnaround you could do. You could be a whole white savior for a bunch of black kids. You could save the Burke. But no, because you don't want your white kids to do it.
Bro, anyway. Yeah, no, like I said, again, as exam school graduates, like, you sit here, yes. You, like, I have no respect, no sympathy. I think that, especially for people who didn't go to exam schools, especially for white folks who did, because a lot of y'all know y'all shouldn't have been there, or y'all know that there were people who were more qualified. I remember in Latin class, I think it was probably like 9th grade, maybe 11th, but McGuire's class, one of those ones. He said, he was talking about, it must have been 9th grade, because he was talking about, how maybe in the 7th grade, you take this ISCE, you pass, you do really great, you get into BLA. But there's some kid who just came from China like the year before, takes the ISCE, doesn't do as great, goes to OB, right? So that kid, you're in BLA, that kid is, learned a new language, managed to pass an exam school test, got in the school, doing He becomes a valedictorian for your school. You're C at BLA.
Please.
And
because
then you go through whatever. Like, who's smarter? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. The way we rank these schools, we be like, okay, we're gonna choose the smartest kids, put them in this and this. But is that really what we're doing? I don't think that's what we're doing. I think we're choosing the kids who can work the system in terms of the black kids and the brown kids. So some of them are the smartest kids, but a lot of them are just the really smart kids who are able to deal. Because I knew some really smart motherfuckers who just could not function in the school system the way they expected to function. Like, so there's those people like us, And then there's people who they just coasted in there. Like a lot of folks who went to a school, they got probably B's and C's, and their parents were like, I want them to go to this school. I'm not trying to pay for 7 more years of Catholic school. And their teachers was like, got you, bro. And then they had A's and like, you know.
And they took their little ISE courses.
And they did their test prep for hundreds of dollars.
I did buy the book. I never really opened it though. Sorry, Mom. You spent like $30-$40 on that. My bad.
My school had like a once a week like test prep for like 30 minutes after school. And what we really did was they showed us like some of the math concepts that was going to be on there. And then Mrs. Singleton, I love Mrs. Singleton. I have to say his name, the gym teacher, Mrs. Singleton. He was also flag football coach and the boys basketball coach. But Mrs. Singleton did the English thing, so we had a bunch of like SAT words, and now I have like a flip book of SAT words, and that's how I know the word abject. By the way, so yeah, I basically went through that. I don't think I had a book, but they just gave us a bunch of words and stuff. So I just wrote down all the words and definitions, and I guess that's how I passed.
I opened the book. It was really hard, so I didn't want to do it. That was my whole experience through BLA and also college.
And you know what I'll say about...
Thank you. My 3.6 GPA in both.
About test prep for the ISCE is that I don't think I used any of the stuff that they showed me. I'm like, first of all, none of these words came up. all of these words, none of them came up, okay? And the math stuff, I'm pretty sure the math stuff is just like, I'm like, I already seen this before. But, It don't take a genius. It really don't. It really don't.
That's I think the part that kills me, especially when Matt O'Malley or whatever was talking about that excellence versus blah blah blah. Versus
Matt
blah,
O'Malley
blah, blah.
would think he has some white excellence going to BLS, like, ugly boy.
I just none of it like
graduated. Okay, by the way, Matt O'Malley graduated from BLS in 1997. Can we talk about the fact that he is that not, what is it called, affirmative action, I feel like, for white men in BLS in 1997? Because who else was in BLS in 1997? That's called affirmative action. That's what that is.
Damn, I had something to say. Oh no, it's left me.
Don't act like Matt O'Malley is especially smart.
Oh, about white kids in BLA. You know what else killed me? And this is a trend throughout all the exam schools. Those white kids will come in 8th and in 7th grade, like regular, like most people do. And then by 9th and 10th grade, leave BLA. You want to know why? Because they actually don't want to go to college. Because their parents fully thought that their kids were so smart and oh, Jimmy's a genius. He's going to go to college, blah, blah, blah. No, Jimmy hates school. He gets high every day. And he wants to join the military.
Right.
And then he won't be able to because of a medical condition. Like, these are true things that I saw in BLA. This was, like, white kids selling drugs, leaving or dropping out in 9th, 10th grade. White kids not wanting to go to college from jump. 7th, 8th, 9th grade, knowing they didn't want to go to college. Why are you in a college preparatory school?
That's the thing that killed me, because a lot of these people would have been better served in Madison. Or would have been better. Like, you're literally taking up spots for people who, like, bruh, our whole lives, the only option we had in life was to go to college. That's the only option we had in life. I can become a laborer, I can become a police officer, I can become a firefighter. Black kids, go to school or it's death. And that's the thing that really bothers me about this 20% bullshit, because, again, like I said, because of the way the educational system in our school is set up, the 20% will be white children. That's what it'll be. White and Asian children. But the part that gets me is that the cost for them, if they don't get into BLA or BLS, is so much lower than it is for any marginalized kid in this city. Like, if I didn't get into BLA, like, obviously, but if I didn't get into BLA, like what? Like, that is a huge difference in my life. Like, Although I probably would have been valedictorian somewhere else.
My mom would have had me begging those Catholic schools. I would have to go to an all-girls Catholic school. Guys, do you know how torturous that would have been for me to have to go to an all-girls Catholic school? But that's what would have been done to me.
Actually, I probably would have been valedictorian. So
I would have dropped out of school.
Maybe
Something bad would have happened to me if anybody had
I'm kidding.
sent
I
me
was
to
lazy
a
as hell. I
Catholic
wouldn't have been valedictorian or nothing. I would have had fucking F's because I didn't do my homework.
Although I did want to leave BLA after 8th grade because I thought I didn't have friends. I did have friends. I just thought that I didn't have friends. But that's besides the point. But anyways, that's the exam school thing. One more thing about it is, okay, so a part of this exam school task force that we got off topic about it, but so this task force was that 80-20 recommendation, blah, blah, blah bullshit. Allegedly, there were city councilors that were trying to use their political pull to kind of
just
ensure that the task force...
and just city officials,
yes, too. Politicians throughout. Anybody with some type of clout within the city, probably within the state, honestly. I thought that was a fly.
I was about to drop a bomb. Sorry. I was waiting for you to finish. I didn't want to interrupt.
In the city and the state, we're trying to influence these people. Do you want to know their names?
Yeah.
Okay. So allegedly, it was Matt O'Malley.
Boom.
Ed Flynn.
Boom.
And this is Sabi George.
Oh.
They have all denied leveraging the BPS. Somebody said Lydia Edwards as well.
Somebody said Lydia Edwards, and then.
Which also I want you to know that's basically half the city council at that point.
That's everybody, and guess who? And somebody is running for mayor. Anansi. And you know what's fun about people like Matthew O'Malley? Is that if you didn't understand earlier when we were ranting, is that homie is on the board for BLS. So
also Michael Flaherty's another suspect. Yes, I'm telling you, half the city council.
So if Matt O'Malley used his political leverage as a city councilor while also being a fucking board member of BLS, like that's no good. That's a very, I don't know that that's illegal, but I think that it should be, okay? Because that's no good. That's what I'm saying about that. Also, Boston's favorite thing to do. This is, next topic. Boston's favorite thing to do, make committees.
Oh my god. This one I think was launched by the separate groups of black men, but
yeah, I know,
even those groups like to start
that's
groups.
what I mean. That's just like a Boston thing, like starting nonprofits, starting committees,
coalitions,
running for office.
Bro, not saying this one bad. I'm not saying it's good either.
So anyway, they started a Boston Black Men's Committee, and they launched that shit, and they vowed to register thousands of new voters, presumably black men.
I don't think it was specified, but I think it was implied.
I'm about to say presumably so because that's who.
Yes, that's who you're targeting.
That's like the demographic that would probably
demographic
one of the least voting demographics.
Be Boston's black men.
That's probably one of the least voting demographics or whatever.
It was just interesting. Like it's an interesting concept. Tito Jackson was doing most of the press conference in the beginning. Like Kim Janey was there. Tito Jackson was there. Our friend Lee was there.
That's cool. I'm great.
A bunch of black men were there.
James?
I don't know if I saw him.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing out names now.
Throwing names. But yeah, that's the thing. It's a little weird to me to have like Tito Jackson be kind of like the front of it for this press conference. I understand media. You want the most well-known person to speak, but that's kind of bullshit because that don't really help nobody. Just saying, like, this is something that's done throughout.
But my thing is that I just feel that there are so many organizations, so many groups. Literally everybody does voter registration, guys. Everybody does voter registration. Everybody does voter education. Everybody does anti-violence work but doesn't do shit. Like, I need y'all, like, this is bullshit. It's bullshit. Okay. I need this
So they said they would push for civic engagement, increased economic and educational opportunities, assistance for previously incarcerated individuals, and greater attentiveness to mental health concerns.
That's very great. I don't know what that means. That's not telling me nothing.
Yes, and I will say this, and this is not
those
even
are some nice
a
words.
critique just about this committee, but all committees within the city of Boston is that
all
when you try and do everything, like you do nothing.
Okay, how about let me look at the list. Okay, fuck civic engagement. Mm-hmm. And yeah, all the rest of those go together. First of all, civic engagement is also Like, I feel like people fall back on civic engagement because, like I said, it's fucking easy to register people to vote. It's easy to go out and register people. You can get mad people to register to vote. Are they gonna vote?
That.
But you can get them registered to vote. Like, the thing about civic engagement is, like, it's... they have to have... I will assume that they have a real unique way of civic engagement. That's what I'm just gonna give them I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. And that they have a way to civically engage the underserved communities, the underaddressed communities, because I just feel that they there's literally no incentive to be civically engaged in this city. I don't see the incentive at all as a black person, because I mean right here. Ballot. So I wonder. I think somebody ought to do a poll of Boston's black people for real, and not just registered voters. I think niggas need to be just fully making Facebook ads, just poll black people. What, any age group, any whatever, what do you think are the biggest issues affecting black people in Boston? Because I feel that if they talk to a lot of black men, especially younger black men, a lot of them would say an issue that they would be willing to vote on is defunding the fucking police.
That assault them.
It's defunding the police. I feel that maybe if our city councilors were actually interested in upholding the values that people are begging for, the people who directly engage you, a lot of people are begging for that. Some people don't want it at all. Some people are begging for a straight abolishment. Meeting in the middle isn't doing nothing. That's not meeting in the middle. Like, let's meet
in the middle, nothing changes. At
least like Ricardo says, make a pipeline to social work, whatever the fuck he was talking about, making it, organizing a system so that we can in the future defund the police.
At least lie to me.
Cops, social workers, whatever.
Lie fancy.
I just really feel like, yeah. So anyway, that's cool. The other stuff is important. Mental health, all that stuff is important. I honestly, that's the other thing too. Like, really, really, truly, you should really focus on one thing. And the one thing should be dealing with, it should either be the economic thing or it should be helping people in their recidivism and the prison shit. It should probably be the second, the prison shit. Because there are a lot of programs that do do education and do that sort of shit for just people. There are a lot of things that do that.
We have so many programs throughout the city. Some of them underfunded, yes, and we need more money put into them so they can support more youth and just young men. I'm talking about until 30 pretty much, because that is where we see a lot of need, from 12 to 30 men, young boys need help. There are all these programs throughout the city, but are we funding these programs?
Are we making them accessible?
Are these programs accessible? Do they know about them? Right. How are they finding out? What's the application process?
Right. And that's the other thing about it too, is that that's the problem with the response always being, well, let's make a new ...
Let's make a new committee.
Because then the ones who are good at it sometimes be falling by the wayside. But also because you can't do it all, if we had a robust network of organizing and of nonprofits and of these fucking committees and organizations and all that stuff, if we had a strong network of those things, people would be able to refer people and not have to do it all. The fact that in most of these youth organizing jobs, they can't, if a youth says, I'm disconnected from housing, I'm disconnected from schooling, I'm disconnected from whatever the fuck, health care, they literally can't do anything. Most of them, maybe your boss who happens to work there, your program coordinator, your lead organizer happens to have a friend who works in ... and they know about this program, so you're able to get into this thing. But it's not systemic. It's not in an organized way.
It's not citywide.
And it's not, and a lot of people cannot access those things. It's really, so that's why it's kind of frustrating when people make new shit.
Yes.
And I don't have any bad intent. The people behind it, these are the people, I focus on these people. Mm-hmm. So it's I have higher hope for them than for anybody else doing this stupid shit. But
yeah, it's just, I wish there was a committee that was a committee to unify, so that, or like a committee to make a website that is like, this is every single nonprofit within the city of Boston. This is what every single nonprofit does. This is every educational program within the city. This is every single blah blah blah. Go to this one website. One website. And you can find all the links. You can go to all these things.
Yeah, you know, I just would like
because everybody doing 10 different things, and also these committees will have like groups of people that work for one organization, and that one organization is not just focused on one thing. So they're also spreading themselves. I think about it with my work. Like, I'll be doing 10 different things within a week. That means there's less time for me to spend doing one thing. Like, less time talking to providers, less time focusing on one certain pilot. Like, these are things you have to consider when you start making all these committees, is that you take time away from the purpose of somebody's actual job, especially as an organizer. Like, the more time I'm stuck in coalition meetings, that's the less time I'm actually organizing. But what do we know?
Yeah. Well,
just the organizers for like 10 years.
Anyway, so our last local news story is about the Massachusetts Democratic Party, which is a fun organization.
Mass Dems.
Yeah, they very abusive Mass Dems. They their new chair, Gus Bickford. Gus Bickford is announcing that Steve Tompkins. This is a fun lineup. It's like it's kind of like New Edition or something. Steve Tompkins.
This is definitely like an Essence Fest announcement.
Is Boyz II Men coming together. Anyway, Steve Tompkins.
This is a country musical festival.
You know, Sheriff Steve.
It's at Gillette.
True. Yo, tell me Steve don't look like a country music star, and so does Shannon. Jay, he looked like he maybe played some bluegrass. He looked like he stands in like a lake.
He got a
He probably a banjo. He probably stands in like a pond, and most of his videos there's like reeds coming up through his
like tapping on his foot and
gonna do have bad policy choices. Gonna make bad. I lost the race against Charlie Baker. Why they still asking me questions? Clearly, I don't know shit about winning. So why they still asking me questions? That's the 2021 platform committee chairs. Everybody. Anyway, so it's Steve Tompkins, Jay Gonzalez, who fucking lost to Charlie Baker in 2018. What up, dude?
You were cool though.
No problem with you, whatever, bud.
Forgot you were a healthcare exec.
Yeah, me too. And activist. I don't know who this is, so I have to put them the activist in quotes. I'm not gonna give them that title because that's a white lady, and I'm not gonna just automatically trust.
Never heard of you, Shannon.
But Shannon Liss Riordan they'll be the co-chairs of the platform committee, and I just really think that it's interesting that Jay Gonzalez, who lost very badly against Charlie Baker, would be a long time ago. Also, I know it's only the last governor cycle, but like a lot has happened since 2018.
I have not heard of Jay Gonzalez since 2018, except maybe once.
And they said like this person they know what should be the platform for 2022. What was it? Is it 2022?
2021.
Well, oh yeah, 2021 platform. Yeah. Anyway,
because they're doing the convention stuff is supposed to be happening next month.
And then
August, September, I believe, is when the convention stuff happens.
And then I just don't get the obsession with Steve Tompkins. Like,
me
I know he likes to call himself a progressive, but he's not progressive. Like, what's the obsession?
It's so weird, and I know it's because he's a progressive sheriff. So in terms of every other sheriff within the state, of course he looks like a freaking little shiny apple,
like a saint, because.
But he got worms in him too.
He's terrible. People.
Y'all wanna
weren't the COVID rates really bad in Suffolk County jails?
Yes, I think so.
And weren't like the women's prisons like really abusive and shit?
Yes. I think so.
Fuck Steve Tompkins. That's the other thing. They keep giving that. They keep
forcing this man down my throat.
Somebody thinks Steve Tompkins is gonna be hired as sheriff one day, and I'm thinking no. I'm thinking no.
The only reason he's still sheriff is because nobody knows what the sheriff does.
Nobody
beyond local people know what the sheriff does.
Nobody want to be no damn sheriff. In fact, what are the please look up the qualifications to be sheriff. Somebody is running for sheriff. You're running for sheriff.
No,
you're running for sheriff. They'd be like, they're like, wait, what are you doing? You'd be like, what do you mean? This person I said they could go home. Like, I wanted them to go home.
How do I even find this information? How to become a sheriff?
A sheriff? No, I don't want to be a sheriff. I want to be Suffolk County Sheriff. Not me, but
nope. Because this picture, okay, with my face,
I'm telling you, bleed. Also, he always was giving them sheriff badges. I think you could make them look better.
Okay, those are so. I still like them though. I had one on my my laundry bin.
They're cute.
Okay, so the sheriff's department is mandated to enforce the laws of the Commonwealth and to serve and protect the citizens of the state. Okay, and we accomplish this mission by maintaining safe and secure custody and control of inmates and pretrial detainees, enhancing public safety by seeking ways to effectively reduce offender recidivism.
We can do that.
To meet the challenges presented by this obligation. Whoa, that's a weird.
Wait, that's not the same type of thing. Like these are points and this is something else.
This is a conclusion. They should have just
made it
indented it.
Yeah,
yes.
They should have made it
Okay, so to meet the challenges presented by this obligation, we must set goals that inform and improve our relationship with both the public. Yeah, I don't know what he does.
What?
Besides,
lock people up. That's what he does.
He keeps them in jail nice.
Okay, but but what do you need to run for sheriff? Like
nothing.
You could just go.
I
You don't
know.
need no because I feel like most elected positions you don't need anything.
No.
But I feel like the sheriff might be different. Maybe you have to be a cop or something.
How do I become the sheriff?
None of y'all know how to become the sheriff.
How do I become the sheriff?
How you do it? Alejandra got a degree in government. She could be the sheriff.
Yes, I do. I have a lovely...
Please.
With honors, I think.
When was Steve Tompkins? When is Steve Tompkins up? Can you run against him? They're like, why do you want to be sheriff? You're like,
because I too would like to. No, I ran away from the page.
I would also like to
personally
keep control and
I would like to maintain safe and secure custody,
right?
Control of inmates.
Control.
In a debate, I would say this exact same. I'd read off his
I'd be like, in fact, you know what? I want to maintain safe and secure custody.
Yes, maintain, and then I would love to enhance public safety.
Yo,
this is
how I be writing my resume. He said, okay, he went to the synonym. You know he did. He said, okay, maintain. I can't say that again.
No, that's that staff member that's like, I don't get paid enough. Okay, so we supposed to maintain, and what else we do?
We enhance.
Yeah.
We meet.
Uh-huh.
The challenges. That one's different. That one's a little different. No, Alejandro's running for sheriff. Alejandro took Diana for sheriff. They're gonna be like, but you said you wouldn't. I didn't say nothing. I said stuff.
You said free to homies. Yeah, still free to homies. I just don't want them to go.
The ones who are innocent.
When they're in jail, I want to make sure they're in there and then leave and never come back. I never
free them as in in recidivism. That's what I want.
I don't want them back.
And you know what? You are a great sheriff because you know what? You did a lot of work on criminal justice and police. But like, seriously though.
I am the next sheriff. Thank you.
But I just really want to know what the actual qualifications. Well, I just feel that nobody really runs against him. So,
like the register of deeds.
How much of the vote could you siphon out? That's what I really want to know.
I want at least 5%, at the very minimum.
I feel that a lot of people would read your name and say, I think this person's good at this. I think this person will lock people up. You like. You
vote for me. I'm blurry. Okay, anywho. So next is on to the fact that we're literally burning. I know we mentioned it at the top of the show, but it felt like it was 105 degrees in certain parts of Massachusetts today. Specifically in Boston. I thought my body was on fire.
So hot in her.
I think
the camera's blurry because it's hot.
Yeah, it's fogging up maybe. Whatever, you guys don't really need to see it, just listen
We're shiny.
to us. Like the other night, what was it, Sunday to Monday night or Monday to Tuesday night, the heat never let up. Like the heat went from it feels like 100 to it just feels like 90 something.
No, yeah, because I was at my cousin's house and I went out, like we had the AC on and we had room with the AC on. And so anytime I had to go outside, it was like freaking, I don't know,
Hell.
stepping into something. I
Hell,
don't know.
a sauna? Your own personal
it's
sauna?
really like stepping in, like when we used to come out the pool and go straight into the sauna at the Y. That's what it felt like.
Oh.
Like, oh my gosh. I don't understand how people are not afraid. The fact that like a lot of people, somebody mentioned it today, like the way older or yeah, like somebody made TikTok maybe a few days ago. The way that older people, like not just boomers but Gen X, like gaslight us about climate change.
It's not
like
real.
it's not happening.
No.
I mean, like my thing about it is that like.
What do you mean?
Al Gore was telling us in 2001 he was running basically a platform
We were babies.
on climate change.
And this man's been talking
2000 rather, not 2000.
Yeah.
2000. He was running I said 2001 because we've been talking about 9/11 right now. He was talking to he that was like a huge portion of his platform. Like, and the fact that like after that people were still like no, we don't.
ExxonMobil said it wasn't.
We'll
true.
just keep it silent. We'll keep silent about it for another, 10 more years until people really like, hold on. We should probably kind of do something.
It's not funny because in 2000, everybody was like, yeah, if we don't change things in the next 10 years, bad stuff. 10 years went by. Now it's like, oh, if we don't change things in the next 10 years, except, oh, wait, it's 100 here in Massachusetts, in, where was it, Portland, Oregon? Or one of those places up in the northwest.
Pacific Northwest.
Yes. Those places were very hot, and they're typically, like, they get hot, but those places are more like rainy, like
Right, like
climates.
like Twilight.
Yes, they stay like that all year, and so a lot
But
of
how
people
is Edward Cullen's family gonna go outside?
Them niggas trapped at home this week.
At least they're not hot.
They probably outside glimmering like.
And they're out in the field. They were
nobody's
playing
outside.
vampire baseball when the thunderstorm happened.
That was what that.
That's what that sounded like. It sounded like some 100-year-old racist people were playing a game outside.
But yep, so severe weather has been affecting the country literally everywhere. It's been like 100 plus in like almost every single corner of the country. Has it been aggressively hot? But with this aggressive heat has also been aggressive rain.
Yeah. Also, like there was like a tropical storm on Blue Hill Ave while we were
At 6 o'clock,
trying to get our food.
torrential downpour.
down. I'm like, it was really like tropical rain. It was like Florida rain.
That was
they were like thick. It was like thick rain, like long. Why the rain long? It's not supposed to be long over here. It's supposed to be small rain in Massachusetts.
That rain was coming down on
It
us.
was like pouring like river. It was about to be river. If it had rained any longer, the streets would have been flooded.
We would have been like Detroit,
Literally.
which last week had a huge rainstorm, which also is an issue with our infrastructure. So we're facing two issues with this.
And Boston is not ready.
issues of climate change and just the fact that our weather patterns are becoming more severe in terms of like progressively colder and progressively hotter, is that we don't have an infrastructure system throughout the country to actually support these things.
Nope.
We don't have it for our regular, like our normal weather. We didn't have it. So for extreme cold or extreme hot and extreme rain, we're like woefully unprepared. Like Detroit, there were people that left their cars in the highway and just had to leave.
I just again, I don't know. I'm gonna keep saying it like wishful thinking. This is my naivety for my life. I have to hold on to it. Like I really do think at some point soon people are gonna be like, bro, like what the fuck? Like seriously. Imagine how many times motherfuckers gonna have to leave their car on the highway before they're like, dog, y'all can do something about this. Come on. Because even if they can't do anything about it, like somebody gonna get upset enough that they're gonna want somebody to do something about it.
You haven't freaking what are those things? Jet skis on the highway. People using whole boats to get across. And we think this is cool. We think this is normal. We think this is just something easy. Then in the end of June, end of June. June's not typically like this, guys.
June's
July
is not Death
is
Valley hot. It's Death Valley hot in Massachusetts.
I don't know if y'all forgot. It's April showers bring May flowers, and then June is just hot, and then July and August you die, and then September you remember why you lived again for the fall. Not I'm dying from June.
And then there is no fall
until November when it gets freezing, and then it's snowy.
Oh, the most beautiful season is gone. And yeah, they're not doing it quick enough or with enough gusto and interest. Like, I'm like, guys, like, this is not, it's not a game. Like, we're already in the bad stuff. Like, people are like, oh yeah, 10-year bad stuff gonna happen. It did start happening.
This is the bad place, guys.
It literally started happening because remember, we had the swine flu that was started getting bad, but it, we controlled it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then more and more, all this weird stuff. We got
Rain,
Zika,
hurricanes,
all those bad hurricanes, all that. Just keep getting them,
earthquakes.
And then where we at? Look at us. Fucking coronavirus, literal pandemic, black plague, death pandemic, bro.
And Siberia is 100+ degrees.
The ground is really damn hot.
So please
And
explain to me how that shit is safe. Like, we got these diseases that love to live in heat. And it's mad hot in Siberia where it's never hot. Please, we're dying, guys. And nobody's stopping it. Oh, and that man Joe Biden, he raised the pay for firefighters. So I guess the federal wage for firefighters. I didn't know that we had federal firefighters, but it makes sense. It's $15 an hour. It was raised to $15 an hour. You can make $15 an hour at Home Depot, bro. I'm not fighting that fire.
They better not have been paying anybody fucking $7 an hour to be a firefighter. First of all, California, they're running out of fucking. They let so many people go from their prison industrial fucking system. They don't have enough volunteer firefighters anymore. They have to actually pay people now to fight fires. Fuck.
It's just
fuck
okay.
Fuck this country. Come on, dog.
It said the Biden administration announced on Wednesday it will raise pay for federal firefighters to be at least $15 per hour as a part of a broader strategy to respond to wildfires.
My thing, like, what? $15 an hour to fight a fucking fire?
A fire!
And then in places where wildfires happen, like California and Oregon and Washington, boy!
It's currently 13. Wait, please. It was currently 13. You're raising it to 15. Please, God. I'm sick of incrementalism. It's like a slap in the face. Like, it's really sickening. It's not hope. Like, people die. Wow, $2 more.
Increments.
That's cute.
People die in the increment. The time, that little sliver of time, people die in that.
$13 to fight a fire. I might as well.
But yeah, that son of a bitch, Derek Chauvin, he is a son of a bitch because his mom spoke and she was a bitch, and she should have hopped in the damn cell behind him.
If I'm going to jail, if he's going to jail, it's like I'm going to jail.
I wish he would have went.
We can open the cell for you too.
Please go right behind him, ugly, because you probably made him like that. But she said that's my favorite son.
Her whole daughter
she said her favorite child. She said the best. She said the best moment in her life was when he was born, and the second best moment of her life was
when he became a cop.
Was when he became a cop, and I just like. And his sister was there.
And did the attorney think that was a wise thing to say? Because everybody was just like, but you have other kids. Like, nobody looked at that statement and was like, this is so
And
loving.
It just sounds psycho. She said, I still believe you.
You believe your son. You saw the video too, right? You saw your son on somebody's neck for 9 minutes, right?
That's because she think it's fine. Anyway, so you got 22 years. I don't know if we talked about this last week. I don't remember when it happened. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, we didn't because I feel like it would have been a long conversation last week if we had it.
Yeah, no.
But anyway.
But also, I found there's a weird conversation that was happening with a bunch of people being like,
yeah,
he should have gotten more jail time and blah, blah, blah. And I just want you guys to know that, like, yes, of course, like, in that aspect of, like, I want him to, like, his, like...
face the full
yes, the wrath of,
justice,
like, our rage. Like, the injustice that he put on George Floyd. I want him to face the same fate. But that's not, like...
I mean, if that's the case, they should have a black man nail on his neck
for 9 minutes.
For 9 minutes until he dies.
Oh, yes, that too. And see if he would. Well, you know, they're like, well, he wouldn't have he wouldn't have died if he.
Well, why don't we just set up the same conditions? You can take some fentanyl. We'll cuff you. There'll be several motherfuckers around. We'll have, you know, like, and then somebody can kneel, a large man can kneel on your neck for 9 minutes, and then everything will be equal. And then, you know, that's it. So, but anyway.
But yeah, people constantly, and it happens a lot, it happens all the time, where people are like, oh, he didn't get long enough, or he should have gone to jail, or shouldn't this, and this. And it's an interesting conversation, obviously, because of, like, the fact that we don't want people in jail at all. And it's just always weird, because it'll be like, people like, he didn't get enough time, and I'm like, jail is...
I don't feel any sympathy. I also think, like, as long as we have people in prison, it's gonna harm black people. That's it. That's the thing about it. It's like, I don't give a fuck. In fact, if it were up to me, we would not have prison. We would have street justice. So if it were up to me, Derek Chauvin would have been got his due, and it would not be in a jail cell. So that's the thing for me, because people want to act like just because you don't believe in prison, you don't believe in justice. No, I believe in street justice. I in fact believe that prison. He don't deserve no prison where he's gonna be all protected. All his little cop buddy, the ones who managed to get themselves into prison, probably gonna be all next to him. All the COs are gonna love him. He don't deserve that fun. He deserves street justice. Like I said, in street justice would have had somebody kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes, just like he did.
As they say, an eye for an eye makes the world go blind. But I'd rather be blind.
That's bull, man.
I'd rather be blind.
That's bull because they take worse than your eye doing nothing. Like they catch you with marijuana 3 times and then your life is over. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Eye for an eye. Fuck that. Like, I'd rather have equitable response. Like, literally, if they say if you kill somebody gonna kill you, fair. I got it. That worked for me. If you say you rob somebody gonna rob you. Okay, fair. That's fair. They're gonna try at least. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, it's the risk, you know. That's fair. That's a fair risk.
You know, back in the good days of America, we had these values. We had these values where we understood, you know, if you fucked with the Italians, the Albanians gonna come for you. If you fuck with these people gonna come for you. There was a cycle. There was a circle of life.
You know, we just should have duels. I think we need to bring back duels, as we always talk about.
Duels, swords. Stop using guns. Use swords. Use your fists.
I just feel that I should be able to, like, grab some bystanders and, like, publicly announce that I want to fuck this cop up, and they should be able to watch it, and the cop shouldn't be allowed to shoot. Nope. I should just be allowed to fucking duff in the street.
Nope.
And if I win, I win. Like,
I feel like it should. We should create a reality where somebody's like, "No, you want to fight?"
Yes.
And then if you go, "Yeah, I want to fight," and you say, "Yeah, I want to fight," and then the ring just appears.
It's literally Pokemon.
Yes.
Except it actually should just be like Pokemon, where if they catch your eyes, you have to fight them. So you have to be walking around like.
You walking around in the bushes.
You walking around like
a wild Pokemon.
Trying to dodge their, like, eyesight. Like, oh, they turn that way. Go run.
No, because this way is ineffective. Like, him in jail, what that gonna do to me?
Unless somebody kills him. I don't know.
What that gonna do to me?
People are like, oh, yeah, he gonna be somebody's wife. No, he's not. He's gonna be protected.
He's gonna be his own wife.
He's gonna be protected. He's gonna have a comfortable little cell. He's probably gonna get a bathroom. He's probably going to get conjugal visits. I don't even know if he's married, but he'll probably get them anyway. And he's going to get out of jail. He's going to look old. He's going to be famous among white supremacists. They're going to give him a lot of money. He's probably going to get out of jail in like 7 years.
He'll probably be, like, per usual, unless people get appeals for things. Like, this will likely go back to court.
And then, man, this one, see, this is the one I feel like an appeals court might just be like, this is too much. I gotta just deny you because it's too political. Because, you know, if I feel like this is the type that they're gonna think it's gonna disappear in like 2 years, and they're gonna try it, and everybody's like, we know him.
Yeah, he really not gonna that, like, cruelty stuff, because
It was just so blatant, like, and the
Yes.
fact that there were children around. That's the thing too. Like that, the judge added all those sentences and shit, and didn't make the sentence. Didn't even give him the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
Which I understand why people feel that way. I don't. 22 years, 30 years. It's a long time, but it's not long enough.
It still don't bring George Floyd back. It still doesn't change
It really
his
doesn't.
actions.
It really doesn't.
He goes to jail. What is he? What does it change about
He just
Derek
become-
Chauvinoff?
he
What
really-
does it change about George Floyd's life or his daughter's life that now has to live without him? Like nothing changes.
And like, yeah, the way he did it was just so like psychopathic. Like
Yeah, he did it
in
without
front of
remorse.
children, like smiling, looking in the camera, really happy to murder somebody.
And then go to court and like this is also I think one of my core issues with police officers in these types of cases is that they'll go to court and defend their actions, knowing like you're wrong. I feel like as soon as a lot of these police officers, as soon as they finish doing whatever they were doing, they like stop and they go, oh,
My bad.
I shouldn't have done that. I went too far, and then they're like, well.
I feel like Derek Chauvin was just cut. Like he had so many. He loved it. He came out to do that. He wanted to do that.
Different.
And I still think that it was sort of targeted specifically, not like fully. I don't think he was stalking him, but I think he saw that man he knew and said, "I don't fucking like this man,
it's
and I'm gonna fuck him up." And he maybe didn't mean to kill him. Maybe he did. I don't know. But that nigga. 22 years in jail where you're gonna be chilling and comfortable. That's not justice. Justice would be getting rid of qualified immunity. Justice would be defunding the Minnesota Police Department, which should be defunded.
Minnesota police. Like, when we think about these police departments, man, what's this story? My dress coming apart? Cheap.
Cheap.
But
yeah.
It's just just to fund the police.
So
fund other things.
Nicole Hannah Jones' tenure got approved at UNC. She's the writer of the 1619, one of the collaborators, creators of the 1619 project. And her tenure was denied by a racist white man because he was racist and white.
A group of racist white men, but mainly women.
Because they were racist and white.
Let's really frame it properly. Her tenure was denied because of the 1619 project.
Yeah. And
now the state of Texas has a whole war against critical race theory.
Yep.
And Nicole Hannah Jones really started a trend.
Yeah, like she did it before it was cool.
This is like being Beyonce.
Right. She's the Beyonce of critical race theory.
Denied her tenure because of racism.
She's the Beyonce of critical race theory, definitely.
Didn't even mention critical race theory anytime. I had never heard of critical race theory.
Yo!
Please, let me discuss this. I have a whole degree, taken classes. I work in politics. Never heard of critical race theory in my life.
That's a funny part because you even took like Black History courses. That's the funny part. You took critical race theory and didn't even know it. No, you know the best part about it. You know why part of the reason you probably didn't know about it is because even college level, it's master's level. It's not even just regular college level critical race theory. It's beyond that. Like you really gotta be historian
I was like,
to be sociologist.
This is an interesting concept. I've never heard about it in any of my college classes.
But I said critical, but what critical race theory? Like, isn't the concept just that just the concept of white supremacy being inherent in our systems?
My favorite part of that word, the phrase theory.
Theory! I just think it's funny. Because, when at all in elementary school did you even use the word theory? That was it. Like, I feel like they specifically save it until, like, middle school. Because then you start talking about
racism was barely a word that was really used. We used to use prejudice a lot more than anything else. They would say, and the way especially our books were framed, it would say that these people were prejudiced against black people, or these people were blah, blah, blah against these people.
Racism is a harsh word.
The racism was not those weren't words that were really explicitly, like, talked about a lot until you were, like, in high school.
At least they didn't say the triangle trade.
of workers from Africa.
Yeah.
But, like, so it's very funny that these, like, these Texas groups specifically, like, they got a really famous tweet today, where a bunch of people are like, okay, it's this freedom, education, liberty group. They were like, look out for these things. This is what shows you that critical race theory is being
It was
taught
like
to your
diversity
kids.
and inclusion. And somebody was like, but disabled kid, that some of that stuff is for disabled people. And everybody's like, they hate disabled people too, but
let's see. It was Black Lives Matter.
that's not critical race
diversity.
theory. That's not critical race.
Please.
Diversity
That list
is
was
not
killing
critical
me.
race theory. Like,
That list was something different.
like, bro, that's the part. Like, it's that like, no one was talking about critical race theory. They were talking about race.
Okay, here we go. Number 1, critical race theory or cultural responsive teaching. That's kind of fucked up. Like, that's not even
That's not critical race theory. Those are two separate concepts.
equity, diversity, and inclusion, like Malaysia just said. Cultural/multicultural competence. I don't.
That's not critical, bro. Being culturally competent is not critical because you don't have to necessarily acknowledge racism to be culturally competent. You don't have to acknowledge systemic racism to be culturally competent. Being culturally competent is like not trying to give your Muslim kid pork. Like, what is it? Like, come on. Like,
Okay. Number 4, implicit, unconscious, internalized bias.
okay, that is all I know about critical race theory. I know
Yes.
about the 4 eyes of oppression, and I know about the concept that white supremacy is part of all of our system,
Yes.
which isn't really a concept because it's 100% factual and provable. Not only factual, but kind of provable.
I'm gonna go to some fun ones. Number 10, CQ, like IQ, but cultural intelligence.
IQ is more critical race theory than anything else on the list.
Number 13, normative.
Normative?
I don't know what they mean by that, but normative.
So
Normative?
just the term normative.
Yes, that's all it said.
So what if? Okay, so I think they.
Hey,
when you talk about-
Afrocentric/Eurocentric.
Wait, Afrocentric. That's not critical race theory.
Obviously,
Ally or allyship.
reparation/liberation because together.
Liberation. Wait, do you want us to be slaves? I know you do, but like
Yes.
But wait a minute. But what about the literal? What about like the Haitian Revolution? There's some things called liberation in like history.
There are more liberation movements than just when black people, guys.
No, that said if black people did it, we just have to block it because too much.
So, this brought me to a topic that I wanted to ask Malaysia about. What was our thing when we were kids that the Republicans were obsessed with? Because this is their, like, new thing. They're, like, really, like, racism and diversity is bad.
They just hate, well.
Like,
Well,
they,
first
they
of
had
all,
a thing
well,
with
first,
education I can't
well, I
remember.
mean, there was no child left behind.
Ah,
But the thing is, but I was gonna say about the culture war stuff is that that was still a good time to hate gay people. So
Yeah, yes.
so
Yes, I was
like,
thinking gays and abortion
people-
was still the
people have to
teen
remember.
pregnancy too.
Yeah, they were wild for teen pregnancy. People have to remember that.
Birth control, that was really bad.
Oh yeah,
Birth control was the rage when we were teenagers and like kids.
People have to remember that, like, in terms of like, there was a the quote unquote acceptance in terms of like mainstream culture acceptance seemed to not come suddenly, as in like it happened soon. It didn't happen quickly. It came suddenly, as in one day everybody was saying the F word like it was cool, and then the next day everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, why were we doing that? Like, that's what it felt like. The shift in like 2007 to like 2013 or so. That's what the shift in like ideas around LGBTQ culture felt like in that time period.
No, it's just
and then what's funny, it was Pride Month, so a lot of people have been talking about stuff, and
that there was a video of a woman from the Boston City Council. She was like the announcing people. I don't know what her term is.
she was like the
lesbian,
Qs.
gay, trans,
and the Qs.
And I
Qs.
Bitch, they didn't tell you to write questioning there? It's not easy.
It's supposed
or
to be
queer,
queer.
whichever one.
She probably scared
When
to
did
say.
it change from
She was
questioning to
just
queer?
scared to say. See, the thing is, like,
It was questioning when we were in high school.
the thing is, like, first of all, they kind of reclaimed the word queer. And the thing is, the questioning,
that's true.
the questioning just sort of meant like everything else. That's why the like acronym started to change. because when the A, they would say it stands for ally, but it didn't mean like a non-gay ally. It meant somebody in the closet. It doesn't mean, please, the A does not stand for ally in the sense of you're not any of these things. It stands for the people who cannot admit that there's some of these things. People, god damn it. No, yeah, I think because, like I said, I think, yeah, when they, especially after, like, Tumblr and those sorts of things, like, when people are really developing, like, online communities, especially, I feel like that's when they started standardizing these acronyms a little more. But, yeah, queer is better. It's a better fit there.
Questioning was, to me, I was like, what are you questioning? Also, me stupid. What are you questioning? Are you like, do you not like it or no?
But yeah, people were. But I think but somebody said today about how a lot of they were talking about the term they used was Tinder queer, and they were talking about how a lot of young white queer people center all their like work around liberation and shit like that. They centered around their personal feelings. So like, if somebody says something about, somebody says they don't want to hear from white people, they'll be like, but I'm non-binary, da 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 da, and this is da da da. This is how I feel about this, and like, yeah, like I think that's it's a white people thing in general to like censor themselves and all that shit. But I think that a lot of the baby gays are they need to like talk to real life people. Right?
Yeah, maybe like, a little bit. Yeah, just on the internet.
Y'all gotta talk to some real life.
I love
people.
Baby gays and like millennials / Gen Z, Gen what is it?
Gen X.
The older ones.
Gen X.
Yeah, okay, Gen X. Talking to like baby gays, and they're like, guys, it's not that deep. Like, also, it's that deep, but like, it's not that deep. Like.
And I think the other thing that person might have been saying was that, like, or maybe this was another video, but somebody was talking about how, like, I think it's another video, because a black person was talking about how, like, people, they keep centering, like, it's like what I always say, how can you talk about being centered and, like, liberation, being sick of it, being tired of all this stuff, when it's your people who made the shit. It's y'all doing it. Like, the reason homophobia exists this way is because of white supremacy. The reason the patriarchy exists in this form is because of white supremacy. Like, it's because of y'all. Like, what y'all need to do something about that. And then, like, the other thing is that, like, how they like to turn it feels like they just turn every identity into another binary. Like, literally turn non-binary into a binary. Like, people, you should not have a stereotype of a non-binary person. Like, unless your stereotype is just an androgynous person of any whatever look.
They're like, a non-binary person, they don't dress like a girl or a boy, me.
Like,
but
what?
I could be non-binary and dress like a girl. I could be non-binary and dress like a boy. You don't make sense.
I'm like, why you put a stereotype? It was literally supposed to be outside of the binary.
Why you stereotype is something you're trying to make sure is not stereotyped.
But yeah, so that was an interesting conversation. That's just white people. White people need to step back, take a breath. Please, can we talk about the fact that I wanted to tweet about this, but I couldn't figure out how to phrase it properly. But like, there was a day where I left a comment on somebody's Twitter where they were talking about something, and somebody was like, "I've never been racist in my life," and da 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 da. And I was like, you're not a leftist if you think you've never been racist. We all grew up in a white supremacist society. We have to unlearn that stuff. And I, like, you hear my phrase, you hear what I said. How did they go talking about, what, do you mean that all white people are racist? Well, yes, because I literally said everyone who grows up in a white supremacist society has to unlearn anti-blackness and white supremacy. Like, what's confusing about that? It's not special to white people, no. Like, and the fact that you don't know that tells me for sure that you're not a leftist. Like, come on. Like, I'm not a gatekeeper, like, no true Scotsman bullshit. But, like, that's just the bare minimum of ideology.
Yes,
is facts. Understanding that we all are in a society that we're affected by. If whether you think it's white supremacy or you think it's economic shit is more important, you're probably a racist white man if you believe that, whatever. You at least understand that society creates something in us that we have to unlearn for a lot of things. I'm like, y'all really think, like, when y'all think y'all grew up in, like, a hole, y'all really think nothing has affected you?
Ever.
No, nothing you've ever seen, nothing your parents did, nothing you saw on TV, no book you read, no song you heard.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing's ever affected them, Malaysia.
Like, okay.
They've been blind.
Somehow you came up with ideas and thoughts. You know?
You're wrong.
Okay.
My ideas are my own. I am my own person. I am a libertarian. I exist in my own sphere of existence, even though I am on Twitter. And I am constantly seeing the ideas of other people every minute, every day.
And then somebody want to be like, well, what if they didn't grow up? What if they didn't grow up in a white supremacist society? They did.
Tell me which one doesn't have white supremacy. Point me to that one so that I can go live.
I would like to go live there.
Because point me to a place where Antarctica, I can go be with this polar bear that's on his deathbed.
It's definitely affected by white supremacy because look at the
That's
shit.
good. They don't got no ice to sleep on.
Look at the shit.
I don't know, guys. What I have to tell you is white supremacy is bad. We don't even got to talk about the last thing. It's mad hot.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Peace. Don't get plastic surgery, bro.
Don't do that.
Please just take like a second. Like, really quickly. It's actually like, people be like, don't judge people, da da da. And I agree, don't judge people for plastic surgery. Also, don't like encourage people to plastic surgery as if it's like getting your ear pierced or like a tattoo.
It's easy,
or like,
it's simple, you can be erased.
Like, that's not, it's an invasive, most of them are invasive medical procedures. A lot of the ones that people are really interested in are like invasive medical procedures. And black people, I don't know, most of y'all don't look good with the new noses, bro. Like, I know y'all be saying like, oh, we found a good nose doctor, but most people, they don't look right with their different nose. But anyway.